Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am Jay Lee. This is Jay Lee's Corner, and this is my review for Power Season 4, Episode 6. So, now y'all thinking, why she got lipstick on? Why does she have on eyeshadow? Is her hair up in a really tall bun? Like, I went to my friend's show tonight, and she was performing. Miss Karla Pace. Follow her on IG at Queen Karla. But yeah, she was singing tonight, and I'm still, and I didn't change clothes when I came home. I have not taken my makeup off, so I'm not trying to be fancy. No, you're not gonna get other videos of me with eyeshadow, lipstick, and the dress on. You know what I'm saying? So when y'all like, what is she wearing? It's a cold shoulder dress that I'm wearing. So yeah, I'm not trying to be weird or different, but just wanted to get that out the way. If you have not done so already, please take a moment to subscribe to my channel. It does not cost you anything. It just lets you know when I have new videos up, new reviews on my channel. So please subscribe. You can also like my videos and share my videos. Please and thank you. There's also a comment section at the bottom that you can always put your comments in about the show, about my review. The only rule is please be respectful. Thank you so much. So let's get into this bomb-ass episode of Power, Episode 6. Let me tell y'all one thing. Jaylee is tired, okay? I am very sleepy. I know you can't tell because I look all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and I got lipstick and stuff on. Mama's tired. But this episode of Power, baby, like my mom even texted me like right when the show went off, on her on demand, like, did you watch it? And I called like, Ma, you still up? It was like maybe 1:10, and we had a little conversation about this episode. It was that good. Power Episode 6, New Man, as it's titled. We see the episode starting out. Ghost is out of jail. We first see the scene of him crushing the skull of Charlie Murphy's character, the correctional officer. And he's waking up from that memory, and he looks around, and he's in his bed, and he's back at the penthouse. And, he gets up, and he gets in the shower, shows a little bit of ass. Hey, Ghost. He's getting dressed, and he calls Tommy and left a message, that they gotta talk. It's important. But as we know, Tommy ain't got his phone. So, he goes into the kitchen and Tasha's there. And he's like, where the kids be? Where the kids at? Now, lo and behold, what they don't know is that Tariq is actually kidnapped. But, Tasha's like, well, Tariq's with whatever friend. Because that's what Tariq told them he was. And Raina's at a friend's for a sleepover, and the baby girl is with her mom. So they're trying to have a conversation, and Ghost is trying to be like, hey, we need to talk. I think that we should start over. And the body language from Tasha is almost like she's trying to avoid looking at him, trying to avoid like eye contact a little bit, because I know this I'm gonna do this a couple times, just don't judge me. But she's trying to she's trying to avoid eye contact with him because it's a lot. They've been separated, they've had all these issues, he's been in jail. So I think and remember, he wasn't living back at the house before all of this happened. And so this is driving me crazy. I'm sorry. So Tasha's like, I don't know, about how I can talk to him. And when he suggests, hey, I think maybe we should try to start over, let the past be the past and try to get, past all of this. And Tasha's like, I don't know about all that. As far as I'm concerned, you're here just to keep up appearances. Because the FBI or the IRS, damn it, the, attorneys or the law people, I'm tired. Anyway, they can still bring up charges. So him being back at the house is just for appearances. She's not ready for that, basically. And when Ghost says like, we should have started over. The whole thing with me and Angela is over. It's done for. And she's like, what? Like, what the fuck ever? That bitch blew up her whole career for you. You can't make me think that's, was for nothing. And he's trying to say, well, no, that's all it is. And she's like, well, whatever. We can talk about it later on. She walks away. He's in the kitchen. But we both see them kind of, stopping to take a moment to think of where they are within their marriage. So that's next. That's it. We next see Kanan, who is sitting outside of Truth, and he's watching Ghost go into Truth, and he like puts a gun in his waistband, and he's about. I'm like, damn, he finna just snatch Ghost up right here. Like, what's going on? But we see Stern pulls up, so Kanan gets back in his car. Stern comes to tell Ghost, hey man, guess what your wife did? So we come to find out Tasha as did take money from Stern, which I don't know because we know Stern is the devil. And, Stern is basically there to say, hey, your wife borrowed some money. I know you didn't know this because you were locked up, but let me let you know. She borrowed quite a bit of money, and I'm here to collect. However, if you take me up on this business deal, I'll forgive what you owe me. We know he's been trying to get Ghost to go into business with him ever since season 2, either 1 or 2. He was first on the show, and Ghost, of course, is like, Ghost doesn't want to be in business with him, and we find out that this is going to be a real estate business that he's trying to get Ghost to go in on. He's like, you would be the CEO, I would be like a silent partner, and it could be money making for both of us. And Ghost is like, why would you want me in this? And he basically says, because you're black. Because he's like, if you are the CEO, I can get minority loans. It'll be a different tax break because you're black. And Ghost like, so basically you want me because, you want my black ass to make money for you. So you basically want me to be a paid slave. You know what I'm saying? You want me because I'm black, and you want me to do this because that's really the only reason. The Ghost, of course, is pissed. But Stern is just like, oh, this is the best idea. Because as he knows, Ghost does not have the money to pay him back. And he kind of has Ghost up a creek without a paddle. And, Ghost, of course, is pissed off just because, he doesn't want to work with or for Stern. Point blank, period. We see as him and Stern are about to have whatever conversation, because Stern wants to talk about this great business deal. Tommy's dad, as I'm going to call him, is it Toretti? The older white gentleman who's still in prison, calls Ghost like, why haven't you given Tommy the phone? Don't forget our, agreement. If you don't give him the phone and let me talk to him, I'm going to let people know what really happened in prison. Just kill that old man. But I'm not going to, that's not nice. But anyway, Ghost hasn't even been able to get in contact with Tommy, but he's letting him know, like, hey, I haven't forgot. I'll, get it to him when I can get it to him. So we see that whole thing. We also see that Juke still has Tyreek, and she's calling Kanan to see where the fuck you at. Why haven't you brought Ghost back? Where's the money? She's like, the money. And he's letting her know, well, hey, I couldn't do it right now. She got too many eyes on him right now. I'm gonna wait till I can get him clean, and then that's it. He like, you still got Tyreek? And she's like, yeah, we I think they were in Queens, but she won't tell him the exact location until, she's like, I'm not telling you shit until you have Ghost and the money. Don't call me back until you have that. And, it shows you how she does not give a fuck about anything. She is money hungry, and she is basically heartless. So we see Tyreek's stupid ass is there. So Tyreek dumbass then went to meet Slim at this other apartment that he don't know whose apartment it is. Your dumbass then leave a jukebox to go somewhere in Queens to wait in basically an abandoned house. That house looks fucking abandoned. I'm still waiting for Slim. Why the fuck is you so... You done got yourself kidnapped. How you was kidnapped the first time and they let you go because your dad was in jail. You got kidnapped the second time and you were in the one house. You done went with your goddamn on kidnappers willingly to another empty house in Queens. Tyreek is the dumbest motherfucker ever. And of course he's like, oh, was that Slim? And he's like, she like, no, it wasn't Slim. Why you keep asking about Slim? When you said I was gonna see Slim, man. So, but he's also letting her know, I'm gonna have to go home. My mom is gonna want to see me. I can't stay another day. She then says, give me your phone. So she then texts Tasha's phone, like, Ma, I gotta come home today. And Tasha responds, because she's having drinks or whatever with Keisha. And she's like, no, you can stay one more day, but I'm coming to get you tomorrow. This is the reason why parents, you should not text your children. You should always call your children or have some kind of safe word. Because you never know if it's really the kidnappers who are texting you. Funny thing about that is when I text my mom, if she is out late or whatever, like if she's getting home from work late, or if she's like went out with one of our relatives or something, and she's coming home late, if she texts me, I'll reply back and I'll say, Mom, is this you or is it the kidnappers? And she'll always respond back with something funny that I know it is her and it's not kidnappers. But you never know, you know what I'm saying? Technology. So yeah. But yeah, I'm still like, Tariq left. You still with strangers, bruh. You kidnapping yourself, basically. So yeah. Keisha and Tasha is having this little, girlfriend dinner date, lunch, whatever. But Keisha got a full-on attitude. You know what I'm saying? Keisha like, look, I want out. I want y'all out of my shop. I don't want y'all running drugs out of my shop anymore. Can we be done with this stuff? And basically because Ghost is out, and Tasha's like, well, no, for right now we have to still run things how we've been running things because we just need to do that right now. But Keisha's not happy with that. Keisha's the most non-hood Keisha I have ever met in my entire life. She is so scary, and it's kind of aggravating. Like, before it was kind of cute how she just didn't want to be a part of that, but at the same time you knew what they were doing, and you had been jealous of Tasha all that time when you knew Tasha was getting gifts and stuff from Ghost and he was selling drugs. So why are you now upset that you making money the same way? Like, whatever. So, but Tasha's saying, not yet. We have to keep it going this way. And Tasha's not happy about that. And I feel like Keisha is going to be bad for business in some way. I feel like even when they stop running money in the shop, if they ever do, some kind of way, she's still going to be bad for business. But, she's like, well, girl, I gotta go because I gotta get the shop back open. Because, of course, we know the feds have unlocked, the doors to the shop. But she was grimming Tasha as if she was a bitch on the street when she got up to leave. And Tasha was trying to be friendly, like, well, hey, have you talked to Tommy? No, I ain't talked to him yet. And then she's like, okay, well, I know you gotta get back to the shop because I know how girls be wanting to get their hair done. Like being, friendly or whatnot. And Keisha, old snooty ass, just kept like eyeballing her like she just did not like her. I don't know what's going on with that dynamic, but I am anxious to see it. Because that ain't how you look at your friend. Like, I would never look at my friend like that. Unless she just tried to murder me or something. I don't know. But yeah. We see Tommy is in Chicago and he's meeting with basically the bosses who were over Mulan. I don't know the guy's name because he said it so quick and I didn't rewind it to hear it, but that's who he's meeting with. It's the people who gave the okay for Tommy and I'm saying Mulan secondhand, the guy who's still on the show now. I don't know what his name is either, but it's the people who gave them the okay to go ahead and kill Mulan. And we know after Tommy and them killed Mulan, his second in command basically been working with Tommy this whole time, you know what I'm saying, and everything. So we do see that he is in Chicago meeting with the new Connect, and we find out what do they want with Tommy. They want Tommy to cut ties with Ghost. And initially he thought the guy was saying, no, I want you to kill Ghost. And he was like, look, I've already been through this. I'm not killing Ghost. It's just not gonna happen. And they're like, well, no, we want you to just cut ties, like just don't associate with him at all. And Tommy doesn't say yes at all. He doesn't say no. He just, kind of like whatever. They suggest, have you ever been to the West Coast? He's like, no, I don't really like dry heat. And then they say, well, we want you to be in charge of both coasts. Basically want him to run the drug game in New York and LA. And he's like, well, I don't know. I'm trying to get back to New York, so we shall see if we're done here. And he's like, well, no, Tommy. we're not done here. We're gonna go party tonight, Chicago style. So we're like, okay, fine. So next from there, we see Julio checking Dre about Kanan finally. But Dre, because he say, hey, I saw you beating up with Kanan. And Tommy and Ghost always told us if we ever saw him again, that we were supposed to kill him on sight. So why the fuck was you talking to him? Dre flipped the whole thing. He like, well, I couldn't kill him. He walked in truth. I couldn't murder him at the club. He came in talking about he wanted to get back down with with us or whatever. And I turned him down and that was it. You know what I'm saying? That's all that it was. He tried to push back. I pushed back and we left it at that. And he was like, but I got some people who, they were mad because Cristobal was getting extra drugs or whatnot. But, I got this meeting. We can meet up with some people about it, blah, 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 blah. And Julio was like, well, nah, we need to talk to Tommy about that first. And Dre get in his head like, man, if you go to Tommy and basically ask his permission, he gonna say, what I gotta wipe your ass for you? Tommy might say that. But Dre got into Julio's head, making him think you should make decisions on your own without asking Tommy, just so that they don't question if you are capable of running things. And Julio was like, alright, set it up. Damn it, Julio. Why would you let him trick you like that, man? Why wouldn't you immediately... Tariq. Go. Damn it. Dre does let Julio know that Ghost is out of jail. Because when Julio said, when you found out Kanan was alive, did you immediately go tell Tommy? Like, well, no, man, I ain't had time to tell Tommy. And then that's when he was like, he mentioned Ghost's name. And Julio was like, Ghost is out. Why didn't you call Ghost immediately? Like, y'all got cell phones, bruh. You could have stopped right then. Call Ghost. Ghost. Kanan's alive. Drake said it. Let's get to the shit. But nah, you ain't want to do that. You want to go meet with these people about these drugs just because Drake said that's what y'all should do. Whatever. So we then see Ghost, who goes home and he checks Tasha about taking money from Stern. And he's like, hey, Tasha, yeah, we do need to talk. I go to my club, everything so it's supposed to be good. Everything's in the same place. Except Stern is there letting me know that you borrowed money from him. And Tasha's like, well, yeah. And Dre, damn it. Ghost is basically like, you signed a deal with the devil. And then she's like, yeah, but we need the money. We didn't have money for the kids. And I did what had to be done because you was locked up. And of course, he's like, well, why didn't you talk to me about it first? And she's like, oh, like you do? You the one who do whatever the fuck you want to do whenever you want to do it. And then, it's that whole battle for power, basically. He then says to her, well, the money from the Mulan deal should have been enough to sustain us, unless you're not telling us something. Now, see, I'm wondering where the money from that went, because she did get the check, and they didn't pay his bail. He got out of jail, so, like, where did that money go? Like, and when he asked her if she was not telling him something, she made a face as if it's something that she wasn't saying, but she just ain't say it. So I'm like, I do wonder where the fuck did that money go? Like, that should have sustained y'all. But, whatever. So they're basically talking about it, and she's saying, well, you're smarter than Stern. You can outsmart him. You can beat him at his own game. And, I know you'll come out on top, basically. And as she's talking, basically talking him up about how smart he is and how he can do what he want to do. Because when he do say, well, he wants me to be in business with him for real estate, she's like, well, that'd be a great idea. It'll be good for you. It'll be good for him. It'll be good for your image, blah, 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 blah. And he looked at her and he's like, Tasha, I don't know how to trust you. And she's like, well, I don't know how to trust you either, but at this point, we don't have a choice. Like, they have to trust each other because right now, they all that they have. So, we then see Dre meet with the damn Toro Locos, the gang that Julio used to be in, and he tells them, well, I know that Ghost paid whatever fees to get Julio out y'all gang. So they're like, yeah, so as long as Ghost is in the game, Julio's safe. Dre old dry stitching ass is like, well, Ghost out the game. Ghost ain't even involved no more. So basically, Julio's life was up for grabs. So you basically set this man up to be killed by his own gang members? Bruh. And they like, well, yeah, because the only way out of our gang is supposed to be death. he got out because Ghost paid us to do it. But if Ghost ain't there no more, bet we gonna take his ass out. And he like, all right, I'm going to, set up the meet. And when y'all do it, this don't make it look like y'all did it. Dre a whole snitch out in these streets. Dre is a whole snitch. Not a half a snitch. He a whole snitch. You so busy setting up Julio's ass, but you ain't told nothing about Kanan. Pissed me the fuck off. So, anywho, from then, we see Tommy is in Chicago. Tommy is drunk, basically. He's drinking with the people in Chicago. We then see them just hit him in the head and knock him out, put him in the trunk. Okay, I gotta get prepared to tell this story. So, Julio walks into the warehouse looking for Dre. Dre, yo Dre, where you at, homie? Dre ain't there. As he's texting Dre, he see one gang member pop up who he know from the Toro Locos people. So he like, oh, so Dre set me up. So he go to grab for his gun, and two more dudes pop up, like, put your gun down, whatever. So they're talking in Spanish, basically saying, Ghost gonna have a fit when he found out y'all did this, because he paid for me to be free. And they like, Ghost ain't in the game no more. And he like, oh, so Dre set me up to be killed, basically. Y'all, are you scared to fight me one-on-one? Because there's three of y'all, is one of me. And he then rushed the one main dude. And they're fighting him. And they're all fighting. I think one dude, like, cut him a little bit, stabbed him in the back. He fighting. It was just amazing how he was just, fighting for his life. So he, killed one, he got a pipe, and he's swinging the pipe and swinging the pipe and swinging the steel pipe, and he knocks out another one. But as he's fighting, they are still like cutting him little by little, until he knocks a second one on the ground, who then cuts his, I'm gonna say his Achilles tendon, because I think that's where they cut stuff and you cut it and they bleed out. It's on the foot, down by your ankle, behind your foot. So his foot is bleeding, but he takes the pipe and he beat the man to death with the pipe, and he only got one dude left to kill. I'm like, go ahead, Julio, fight for your goddamn own life. Don't let them fight for your life and then tell on Dre old punk ass. Well, poor Julio. They killed Julio. The guy kept stabbing him until he was down on the ground. He was just, bleeding and stuff, and he was just not, about to make it. The dude from the gang then cuts off the tattoo on his neck. Cuts it off of his skin. I'm like, oh, damn, you really? Now, the whole time it's happening, I'm hoping in my head, man, hopefully, for some reason, Ghost come and he see this happening. He shoot the guy in the back of the head. Or Tommy come back and I was just hoping somebody came and saved Julio. Ain't nobody come and save Julio. The good dude peeled his skin off, and then stabbed him in the chest. And that's Julio crawled away, bleeding and choking. Sexy ass Julio died. And I'm like, well, maybe he gonna crawl. He gonna write, Dre set me up in his blood. Maybe he gonna crawl and say, right, Kanan's alive, or just something. But no, he just crawled and he just died. Like, y'all killed Julio? Y'all killed the whole Julio? Julio just had a good ass sex scene last episode, and now this episode, y'all done killed Julio? Man, y'all killed Julio. I was very sorry to see. I was just like, bruh, I could not believe y'all killed Julio. May he rest in peace. Next, Tommy wakes up in the trunk, and he's listening for what's going on, where they're taking him, because he just like, I was just walking, and then next thing I know, I'm in a goddamn trunk. So we see that they're taking him to like a field, and there's a ditch buried to bury a body, and he's like, what the fuck, man? I thought we were cool. What are we doing here? And we then see Mulan, second in command, the same guy who helped Tommy kill Mulan, and who had been telling Tommy that the agreement for them to kill Mulan, it was made by the people in Chicago. He's also there. And the main guy is like, well, you're here because you killed Mulan without our approval. And he's like, that's fucking bullshit. You set me up. You told me that you got the okay for us to kill him. He was with me the whole time. He knew about the whole plan. It was him, it was us together. But he told me you guys agreed to it. Because even at the dinner when he was getting drunk, Tommy said to this main person, I was surprised that y'all agreed to kill Mulan so fast. Like, I was surprised it didn't take longer for y'all to agree on that. And so that's why I was surprised. Like, if he said that y'all knew, he must have heard from somewhere it was approved. So he's like, well, no, we didn't approve it, so we got to kill you. And he's like, look, I didn't do it. He did it. And he wasn't really begging for his life, and he wasn't really snitching. He was just like, look, he playing both of us. He told me that y'all agreed to it, and he told y'all I did it on my own. He trying to get over on everybody. And then who do we see walk up? Tatiana, the same girl who was with Mulan back on last season. He was like his girlfriend. And she's talking to the main guy, telling him who he should believe. And I'm like, well, damn, who she gonna say? I mean, even though I know they weren't gonna kill Tommy, I was so confused, like, what's gonna go on? And he did turn around, he shot the other guy. Because the girl Tatiana say, Tommy wouldn't have did that. You should believe Tommy, not him. So Tommy lives to see another day. The guy is like, we cool. And we don't have to worry about anything. We don't have to worry about anything. They cool now. They gave him his car keys. Now he can go back to New York. The next thing we see is Kanan run up on Ghost. Out the blue. I'm like, bruh, that's Kanan? That's Ghost? Man. And Ghost looked like he saw a ghost. Like, what the fuck? And, Kanan told him, like, we, shut the fuck up. Get in the car. We got Tariq. If you don't do what I say, we gonna kill that little motherfucker. And, Ghost get in the car. But he's looking like, where the fuck did you, like, what the fuck? It was a whole, what the fuck, like, what? Was the face he had on his face. And he's just looking confused, basically. So in the midst of that, they show Tommy riding around, and we see he passed the sign say Cleveland. And I'm like, Tommy riding around like everything cool. He don't even know back in town Julio dead, Tariq is kidnapped, Ghost out of jail, and now Ghost is being basically kidnapped by Kanan for some money for Tariq. Tommy, get your ass back to New York. But no, Tommy goes and he's looking at a house. And I'm like, oh, you want to move to Cleveland? Okay, Tommy. So Tommy goes to this open house and he's walking around the house with the old guy who's a real estate broker, whatever. Like, I'm thinking about relocating here. No, I'm not married. I'm single. I'm just trying to relocate for some peace and quiet. And, the guy is talking like, oh, yeah, do you have kids? And Tommy's like, no. Do you have kids? And he's like, well, yeah, I have 2 daughters. Tommy then says, oh, you like raping your daughters? Even I was like, the fuck? Like, what? And I'm like, well, damn, did Holly's father rape her? Like, did he go find Holly's father? And come to find out, no. The house salesperson is Holly's uncle, who, when she lived with him, he would rape her every night when she was 9 years old. And he's like, Holly told me about you. And he's like, whatever Holly told you was a lie. I didn't do anything that she didn't want. And he's like, she was 9 years old. And then he was like, but she wanted it. She wanted it, so I gave it to her. You sick fuck. I mean, I was like, who, what? You fucking pedophile. And then Tommy was like, she was 9 years old. This motherfucker said, yeah, but she was very mature for her age. Bitch, she was 9. And Tommy flips. And he picks up a bat. And he hits him in the head. And he's like, you should have never touched her. You should have never fucking touched her. And he's banging his head in with the bat. And I'm like, okay, let out your aggression. Calm down, little Mohican. Calm down, little moccasin. calm down. But Tommy just killing him, killing him, killing him. And the white man is dead. So, yeah. I was just like, fuck. So, from there, we see 50 Cent in the car, and him and Ghost are talking. What I didn't like was I felt like 50 Cent was trying to be too hard or too tough as Kanan. And for me, it was a little bit unbelievable how he was talking. It was just a little weird for me. But that's also could be because 50 Cent irks my nerves. Anywho, but he was just talking and he was telling him, we want money. We have Tariq in that whole spiel, but I'm like, whatever. In the meantime, we see Tariq at the house. He's like, okay, I gotta go. My mom gonna be trying to get me. And Juke was like, well, you can't leave yet. And he's like, man, I gotta go. I have to leave. And as he's walking, Juke walks up behind him and hits him in the head. Now, see, for me, when Juke hit him in the head, I was like, yes! Why? Because Tariq has been a fucking idiot for the past 2-ish seasons. If not 3 seasons. Ever since Kanan, the whole Kanan thing. Yeah, 2 seasons. And I was like, finally, something bad happens and he's aware that he's in danger. This whole time he's been in danger and he had no idea because he's been so fucking stupid. So for me, I was happy that something finally happened to him that would let him know, okay, I fucked up. I shouldn't have came with these strangers. I'm in a bad situation. And I was just happy for that moment. And then, Jukebox was like, oh well, see what you made me do. And, Ghost and then Kanan are in the car talking, and Kanan is just saying like, you sent me to jail, you fucked up my life. And Ghost is saying to him, look, I had a choice. It was either we were trying to do something and you wasn't trying to do it. We were young, we were kids, we were just young kids, we was innocent. And he like, I was never innocent. So Ghost said, well, look, my choice was I either had to kill you or send you away. And I love you. I loved you, past tense, loved. I loved you like a brother, so I couldn't kill you. So I did what I had to do. And then Kanan's like, so you basically just made, the wrong decision? And he's like, no, I just made, the best decision that I could. And because he needs money, he's telling Kanan, I think out of jail, I don't have the money. I don't have it. But I know where we can get it from. They pull up to somewhere, and where did they pull up to? He took Kanan to Tommy's money stash spot. And Kanan like, you gonna have us rob Tommy? Boy, you was a motherfucker. Because he is. I'm like, what the fuck, Ghost? And, he's like, okay, give me a gun. We can't go in here and rob this place if I don't have a gun. So I need you to give me a gun. Like, give me a gun. And what the fuck does Kanan give him? He gives him a gun with no bullets in it. And he like, you don't need bullets to rob him. I'm looking like, bruh, what? So yeah, they walk in, and it's the guy who Tommy gave his phone to. He's like, oh, what up, Buck? What you doing here? I'm like, oh, man, I'm just here to, look around and whatnot. And Ghost tries to go upstairs. And he's like, man, I can't let you up. I can't let you up unless I hear it specifically from Tommy or Julio. And I haven't heard from them. And then Ghost says, well, I was just with Tommy, and he told me to come here. He's like, see, I know you lying, man, because I know Tommy gone. He out of the state. And Ghost's like, all right. He tried to walk past him, and the guy tried to stop him. So Ghost hits him in the head with the gun, because why he can't shoot him? Because he got no bullets. And he walks upstairs, and he sees the second guy. Hey, man, what up? Kanan comes in from behind, because Ghost went in the front door, where Kanan went in the back door. As Kanan said, before they went in there, when they made a plan, Kanan said to Ghost, I taught you well, because the plan he had was something that Kanan taught him. Anywho, so Kanan comes up the back, Ghost is in the front, and, they hit that guy over the head. So, no one's dead. They then walk into the room where the money is, and the dude is like, man, what the fuck? He like, look, I don't want a problem, just put the money in the bag. That's all they gotta be. He wanna play Captain Save him and go for his gun. So what happens? Kanan shoots him in the head. So Ghost is like, man, what the fuck we said? Well, nobody gonna get hurt, but somebody got hurt, and they both put the money together in the bag. Now, me seeing Ghost and Kanan work together, it irked my nerves because I'm like, I hate Kanan, and I'm Team Ghost, but at the same time, they work together like a well-oiled machine. You could still see how they were before, basically. So it was kind of weird for me to see that, but I'm like, okay, fine. So at that point, they have the money. They're trying to go get Tariq. Tasha then calls Ghost because, of course, she can't find Tariq. So, Kanan says, answer the phone, tell her we're going to get him. We'll tell her you going to get him, not we. And he says, like, yeah, he called me. He was, because he called, Tasha said he wasn't at his friend's house. His friend said he left to hang out with some girl. Ghost then says, well, yeah, he called me, told me about it. I'm going to pick him up. Cool. They get to where they're supposed to be, the house in Queens. And Kanan and Ghost are talking. And he's like, look, you have an issue with me. It shouldn't be about my son. Let's leave him out of this. Because in the car, Kanan tells Ghost who has Tariq. And he's like, she runs the street harder than some niggas. And he's like, Jukebox? And you can see the fear on his face because, Jukebox don't have no heart. She's heartless. And so he's panicking. So when they're outside the house talking, and it was weird. I don't know if I was just sleepy or what. They were talking, and it was almost like they were burying the hatchet, but not really. You know what I'm saying? But he was just saying, I just need to get my son back. Just let my son go. Just do that. And Kanan gives Ghost a gun. And Ghost, of course, points the gun at Kanan. And they are talking. And we also find out that Kanan is still mad that Ghost sent him to prison. So we know about that. But he then says, look, I don't know who Jukebox has in there. What I do know is I don't know what she's going to do after she gets this money. She might kill me. He was like, so you have two choices. Either kill me right now or we team up. We go in here and get your son. And I'm like, now you want to help him get his son back? After all the bullshit? That's what you want to do? Okay. Whatever. So they go in the house and we see Tariq is tied up. We see Juke is sitting there. And initially, they put the money down and Juke thinks Kanan is on her side. So when Tariq says that, he like, Dad? He like, son, I got you, son. And Jukebox is like, you all dressed up in a suit. Do people really buy this bullshit about you? And Ghost says to Jukebox, I haven't done anything to you. Let my son go. And he was like, nah, this is about the 10 years, Kanan spent in prison. Well, she didn't say Kanan's name, but she said that he spent in prison. And it was weird because it's like Jukebox starts talking to Tariq. Like, you don't know who he is, talking about Kanan. And then she then makes Kanan tell Tariq the truth about who he is and what he's been doing. So she's like, tell him the fucking truth or I'm gonna blow his head off. Gun to his head. And he like, my name is Kanan. He's like, what? You told me Kanan was dead. And he's like, nope, I'm Kanan. Me and your dad grew up together. We did some bad things together. I'm basically a piece of shit. He then tells him, I'm also the one that killed Shine. I killed my own son. And if I had to do it, I would do it again. He then say, I was only hanging out with you to get this money. Like, fuck you. And I'm like, and you see Tariq realizing all the bullshit he's been fed. All the bullshit. And I'm like, that's what your dumb ass get. Because you let this man get in your head. And as they're talking, Ghost is just like, let my son go. Just let him go. And Jukebox is like, don't move. And she pulls her gun up towards Ghost. Kanan shoots and kills Jukebox. 2 shots. And she, of course, falls back in the wall. And she dead. And as he do that, Ghost grabs Tariq. I got you, son. I got you, son. And Tariq, who isn't shot or anything, he's, being held by his father, but he's like limp. because he's probably so mind fucked. You know what I'm saying? Because he realized that he been played this whole time. This whole time he got played. And he deserved to feel that, because you've been so fucked up towards your whole family, and you basically let your father's enemy do this in some sort of way, because you kept befriending him and not telling your people who he was. You kept protecting that nigga. And we see Kanan take the money. All right, little nigga, see you around. And he walks out. And Ghost is just holding Tariq. And then goes off. Man, between Julio getting murdered, Ghost out of jail, Ghost and Kanan having to work together, Tommy damn near getting killed, Keisha with her funky ass attitude, and Tariq finally being realized that he's been an asshole and he's been wrong this whole time. This is a good fucking episode. I did not mean for this review to go 40 minutes, but I had to cover everything. It was such a good fucking episode. So next week looks even better. It looks great. I'm not liking how Dre's becoming, this evil character. I think he's gonna be the next bad guy. He's already the bad guy because he's been on some bullshit. We do see a little bit of stuff might happen to him next episode. I can't fucking wait. So that was my review for Power Season 4, Episode 6. It is currently 2:16 in the morning. I'm going to bed. So, until next time, people, I am Jay Lee. This is Jamie's Corner. Peace.